Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Everybody surviving the ice storm. It's getting pretty intense out there. 10 states right now involved in power outages of some degree, multiple counties. Some states have dozens of counties experiencing power outages, 875,000 people off the grid and counting. Hopefully it won't go any higher than that. Temperatures are very cold. They're going to get colder. I'm going to show you guys how much longer the precipitation is going to last. The forecast that we're looking at shows around 24 hours for some areas. Over in the Carolinas, AZ Watchwoman, what's going on? Having coffee with common sense. Good to see you guys here today. Dr. Scholzmans, how's it going, guys? Good to see you here. Anybody involved in the power outages? If you are, leave a comment down below in the comment section. I would like to hear from you if you're in the path of this very large winter storm, one of the biggest ones of the year, spanning again over 1,500 miles, 10 states, and dozens of counties. Like we anticipated, we saw this brewing a few days ago, and it sure is delivering. I mean, the moisture, the winds, the cold air, and the cold air is going to stick around for a while. You can see the temperatures right now in the single digits in Oklahoma. Teens in Arkansas. The farther north you go, obviously the colder it gets. Our friends up in Canada dealing with negative temperatures pretty much across the board, with the exception of British Columbia, where they're in the low 30s and in the teens. Kind of a mixed bag up in Canada, but overall very, very cold. I mean, that's a huge storm front that dipped way down into the U.S., way down into Texas, even parts of you have Houston right now dealing with temperatures in the 20s in some areas, North Houston. Here's the storm front as it moved in. I received some new photos, Daniela, out of the St. Charles, Missouri area. This is the storm front, cold front that was moving in that collided with the warm, moist air. Warmer, it wasn't exactly super warm, but warm enough to precipitate when it collided with this large cold front. Here's another view of the big line in the sky. People saw from Oklahoma to Missouri. These are, like I said, new photos. Lexington, Kentucky, people saw some unusual activity in the skies as the storm was approaching. But that's what happens when warm air meets cold air, and on that boundary, it precipitates, whether it's going to be cold and wet or snow. It just depends. The freezing rain's the big problem that's causing the vast majority of these power outages, and kind of where we suspected. You know, it's difficult to predict exactly where freezing rain is going to come down because the cold air is constantly moving north or south, east to west, and changing. Just a 1 degree can mean the difference of snow and freezing rain. 1 degree. So they're seeing an abundance of freezing rain here in Mississippi. In fact, right now it's doing a little bit of both, snowing and freezing rain in northern Mississippi. Show you guys some cameras from across the Gulf states, the northern Gulf states, the Mason-Dixon line, where there was a lot of power outages. This is, again, northern Mississippi. Plenty of snow, measurable snow on the ground. I'm not quite sure how much they got there. I want to say around 5 to 6 inches so far. The ice is still accumulating. Snow is still coming down in these areas. Power outages galore. And I've been watching the power outages over here at poweroutage.us. Here's some of the totals. Oh, and by the way, not to mention power outages, there's 10,000 plus flight cancellations and counting. Unbelievable. Not surprising, though. Pretty much every airport in all of these states that you see highlighted in orange and red and possibly even yellow, with the exception of Alabama. Alabama's in a unique position. Let me show you here real quick. Going to Alabama. They've got a little batch of cold or warm, moist air moving through Alabama, and that pretty much saved them from the freezing rain. To the Mississippi side of Alabama, they got a ton of freezing rain. Even over in Atlanta, they're dealing with rounds of freezing rain, but Alabama had this warm front. It's 72 degrees in southern Alabama. 33 degrees, 30 degrees up in the Huntsville area, but it doesn't look like they're going to get a ton of snow and ice. So they lucked out. Tennessee, looking at 338,000 customers off the grid right now as I do this video. Mississippi, 162,708 customers. Louisiana, 137,000 customers. Texas, 94,000. There for a while, they were at 131,000. Kentucky, 70,000. Georgia, 51,000. West Virginia, 35,000. Alabama, 30,000. So there are parts of Alabama that are receiving frozen precipitation. Once again, southern Alabama, warm and 70 degrees. Make that make sense. But looking at the incoming precipitation, here's when it should stop coming in. You can see already it's letting up a little bit in Texas. As anticipated, it came in on Friday night, and now it's departing. So this was around a 36-hour event pretty much across the board. Everybody's going to be impacted by it. Now it's moving into the Carolinas, at least the thicker part, and over here towards, the eastern edge of Tennessee, southern Tennessee, northern Georgia, northern Alabama, which, by the way, they're getting rain. Looking at the cold air, and there's that warm spot here. Look at that warm burst went right up into it's going up in. That was 6 a.m. Let's look at it right now. There it is. That warm air goes all the way up in through Knoxville. I mean, it's 35 degrees in Knoxville right now, and you go over to the west about 75 miles. It's 4 degrees. Wow, talk about a bipolar storm. That is wild. Again, over here at Null School, you can see the moisture coming in. It's moving from west to east, and it's going to continue to move west to east throughout the day through tomorrow, where they're going to see frozen precipitation possibly in North and South Carolina. Speaking of North Carolina, they're already getting frozen precipitation. Check out this video from South Carolina. They've already got snow on the ground, and there's more coming. Look at that. Video sent in today. Look at that. South Carolina, seeing snow. Northern South Carolina. This video was from first thing this morning. So already getting precipitation. That's right on time. They anticipated snow moving into the Carolinas by Sunday, and it sure enough did. Most of the aspects of this storm were pretty much right on the money. I don't know about the freezing rain totals. I haven't heard anything yet. Here in central Louisiana, check that out. Photo sent in of a tree split in half. Maybe that was sent in by Ann. Thank you, Ann. Big old tree. That's what happens when these big, especially big trees, get loaded down with ice. They become very, very heavy. The branches do, and they can't hold the weight. You can see the ice here on the camera in Louisiana. That's from the overnight hours, and I don't know the exact ice totals. I haven't heard. I'm hearing an inch, but that's not confirmed. Some places are reporting an inch and a half. And that would definitely align with the power outages. That will take power lines down. Absolutely, it'll take branches down, and then the branches fall into the power lines, and this creates a whole domino effect. So if it's not the ice itself taking down the power lines, a tree branch or a tree. This is Mississippi as the snow and ice was coming down. Look at that. That is northern Mississippi. Yo, I mean, that is wild. And that was from early this morning. What else do I have to share with you guys? Oh, the grid map I showed you guys that earlier. 1,500 miles worth of power outages. That's going to take a while to get back on. Reminds me of that's more than a hurricane would do. When a hurricane makes landfall, it's more in an isolated area. Maybe like the state of Florida. We've seen many hurricanes come in Florida. This is a view of a camera. This is in, I believe, Kentucky. Where are we at here? Doesn't say. Let me back it up just a little bit. Oh, yeah, this is Kentucky for sure. That's Kentucky. Been looking at the weather situation in Kentucky, and they're getting a lot of snow right now. This camera here is frozen over. You can't really tell what's going on. Looks like snow, obviously freezing rain at times because there's ice all over that camera. This is Kansas, and this is the progression of the storm. You can see they got blue skies in Kansas right now, right? So that's what's headed towards Missouri later on this evening. You guys, the precipitation at least is moving out. So Kansas is already cleared out. It's been sunny all morning long. I've been watching this camera, and you can see the roads for the most part are clear. A little bit of stuff on the roads on the very edge, but that's in Topeka, Kansas, and the conditions are clearing up. But you go over to Missouri, and I'll show you some cameras here in Missouri where it's a little bit different story over here. hasn't quite cleared out just yet. Let's check on this one here. If we can get it to open up. Well, they're not working too good because it's obviously windy and cold. Well, you can see the skies are starting to clear out. Check it out. This is in Missouri, southwestern Missouri, starting to get blue skies. You can tell the sun's out. The precipitation and cloud cover is moving to the east. So things are starting to wind down a little bit in Missouri. Still going to be dealing with the cold air, though. That's a common denominator that's going to stick around for several days, the very, very cold air. You can see it raining here. This is in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Frozen precipitation, that will cause power outages, and that's why they are seeing 337,000 customers without power in Tennessee because of that frozen precipitation. Look at that. They're leading the way. The closest is 162,000 in Mississippi. So a lot of frozen precipitation still coming down. In some places we're anticipating quite possibly 2 inches of frozen precipitation. This is Louisiana. It's still coming down there. And I'll show you guys real quick. I'm going to show you some cameras here in Louisiana. That is Louisiana near Shreveport. Are you serious? Normally these areas are preparing for maybe a hurricane or something like that. A snowstorm? Just seems weird even saying that. It really does. This will be one for the record books for sure. Let me show you the precipitation, where it's at, where it's going. Right now you can see a band of fairly heavy rain, nearly an inch an hour falling in places in southeastern Alabama. Look at that. Heavy rainfall. That's 3/4 of an inch an hour rates. That's very heavy rain. We're going to step it forward. Now the whites you see back here, snow flurries, light snow, and even frozen precipitation. The light blue is very light rain coming down in some places as frozen precipitation. All the power outages in Tennessee, central Tennessee, right there's your freezing rain component. But it's above 30 over here near Knoxville. So they're getting rain. It's just a mixed bag. So here we go. The precipitation making its way out of Texas today, later on this evening. The heavier precipitation moving into Georgia as heavy rain later on tonight into South Carolina tonight, North Carolina tonight. Let's look to the upper Northeast. Look at this heavy snow moving into Maine, New England, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Heavy snow is on the menu tonight. You can see the heavy snow moving in. Look at that, 1 inch, over an inch per hour rates. 1.2, that's an inch and a quarter per hour. That's a heavy rainfall total. And to last a very long time. Look at that, 1.5 inches per hour. Did you see that? Check it out. 1.5 inches per hour, heavy snow south and east of Pittsburgh. In the Pittsburgh area, 3/4 of an inch per hour. Heavy snow in northern West Virginia, 1.25 inches per hour. Let's step it forward. Here we go. We'll go an hour at a time. Going into New York, inch an hour rates, almost 2 inches an hour. Look at that, heavy snow. New Jersey, north central New Jersey, nearly 2 inch per hour rates. A lot of snow moving in, 2 inch per hour rates. Moderate rain, so that must mean the temperature is going to change there during 2.17 inch per snowfall rates per hour. Southern New York, in the deep southern New York, north of Manhattan. Are you serious? That's a lot of snow. Snow moving into Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, 2 inch per hour rates, 1.5 inches per hour. Rainfall, snow, all of the white you see back here is light snow, freezing rain, but it's moving out of Texas, as you can see, into, eastern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, making its way out tonight. Let me back it out just a little bit so you guys can get a little better view of the snow in the New England area. A lot of snow up there in New York, New England. Stepping it forward, let me back it up. This is tonight. Here we go, into tonight. And then tomorrow. And most of the precipitation will be gone, with the exception of a little bit in the Carolinas tomorrow morning. But by tomorrow afternoon, the vast majority of the frozen precipitation will be long gone. Still going to be snowing tomorrow afternoon up in northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, Rhode Island. light snow, nothing heavy. But you're going to see probably a foot to 2 feet in some areas because some of those snowfall totals, 2-inch per hour rates, are pretty heavy duty. So if it keeps that up for any length of time, you're going to see measurable snow come on very, very quickly. But the southern states, it should clear out by tonight. Clearing out by tonight, cold air moving in, and it's going to stay cold for a little while. Cold air moving in, that's the feel-like temperature. Actual temperature in the 20s. Teens, single digits in Memphis, that blue and purple, -10 in the Wichita area, -11 up in Minnesota, -16 in Wisconsin. The cold air is going to stick around for a little bit, but warming up some in southern, Mississippi, South Carolina. Cold air is going to move out by tomorrow afternoon. So at least that's something to look forward to. And hopefully the power will be back on by, sometime tomorrow night. I don't know how long the power is going to be off. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the extent of the power line damage. And I do know it extends over 1,500 miles. And we haven't even got into the heavy snowfall up in New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That is a super densely populated area. So when the power goes out there, it's going to affect a lot of people. Hopefully it won't. I'm not saying that it's going to, because you guys are going to see more snow than you are freezing rain. But that doesn't mean that the power grid can't be affected, especially if you get blizzard-like conditions. It normally is affected by the weather conditions. Power lines and trees and heavy tree branches just don't mix. It's not a good combination. So there's usually a little bit of a power grid, a few issues here and there when it comes to blizzards, of course. Avoid unnecessary travel. This is in Kentucky. And you can see the branches over here sagging. That's an indication of heavy ice. Look at that tree bent over, touching the guardrail. There's another one. See the branch right there, bent over? That's a lot of ice, my friends. That is a lot. Look at that. See the U shape right there? Looks like a fish hook. That's weight. There's another fish hook right there. That's weight. That branch is touching the guardrail. These branches here are all bent over. Look at that. Some of them look like they're touching the ground. That is a lot of ice. And that's in Kentucky. That is in Kentucky. Still snowing, or the snow's letting up in southwestern Missouri. Let's go check out southeastern Missouri. I think it's moving out of Missouri literally right now as I do this video. Let's go over here to the Boot Hill. That one's not working. They may be dealing with power outages. I don't know. This is by the New Madrid Fault. New Madrid is right there by the Missouri Boot Hill. Boot Hill is what they call it. Let's see if this camera's working. I don't know if it is or not. They might be dealing with power outages down here. Probably are. They're showing heavy snow right now. Roads closed. Let's go right down into the Boot Hill. Oh, there you go. This is in southeastern Missouri, near the New Madrid. 1:30 in the afternoon. This is right now. You can see it's still snowing there, but it's not snowing in southwestern Missouri. So I would say in about 3 or 4 hours, the sun will be out here. The clouds will be pretty much, for all intents and purposes, gone, and it'll be done snowing and done precipitating. So we'll be getting snowfall totals here soon, rainfall totals also here soon, freezing rain totals here soon, and I'll update you guys with all those totals as we get them in an upcoming video. But you can see here, this camera here is covered with ice. This bridge covered with ice. Nobody out. Most people are at home. I heard Texas, for the most part, is a ghost town in Texas. In fact, speaking of Texas, let's go look around. Here's northern Texas. Looks like it's still snowing there. Look how slow everybody's going. Those roads are snow-packed, ice-packed. Everybody's moving very, very slow. And to be honest, I don't see any lights on here. This is in north central Texas, so doesn't look like there's lights on in the intersection. Don't see any lights on over here in these buildings. And there's a line of cars here lined up for something. See, there's a slow movement up here. Folks lined up to get something. I don't know what. That's in north central Texas. Right now, real time. Let's check this one out. Let's check this one out. Okay, it looks like maybe it stopped snowing in, let's check this one out. This is in the eastern Dallas area, east of Dallas, Fort Worth. Looks like it's done snowing there. Yay, that's good. That's what we want to hear. Let's go over into eastern Texas because I've heard that they've had some power outages over here, so we may not be able to get the cameras. This would be west of Shreveport. Slow goes it. Still very cold. Got quite a bit of snow. Got quite a bit of snow on the ground. Don't see a whole lot of trees sagging over there, which is a good indication that they didn't get a whole lot of ice. Now this looks like they got plenty of ice. Look at those roads. Look like ice rinks. You can tell they didn't have any snowplow activity through there. A lot of these areas don't have snowplows. I don't know about Texas. I don't know their situation, but I know they don't have snowplows in southern Louisiana. It doesn't ever snow there. Kind of a waste of time and money to have snowplows down there. But that's the latest update, guys. The precipitation should be moving out by tomorrow afternoon. Most places, with the exception of the New England areas, there's going to be light snow tomorrow evening, lingering on, but for the most part, most of it's going to move out later on tonight during the overnight hours, and then it's just a matter of getting the power back on to everybody. So hopefully the power won't be off soon or too long, and it gets back on soon because it's cold. And being without power, it's one thing during a hurricane. It's warm during hurricanes, but when it's cold, need the power back on as soon as possible. But it's tough when your linemen and the winds are above 35 miles an hour. They simply can't get up in their boom trucks to get the power restored. They want to, but they sometimes just can't. All right, guys, so that is all I've got today. I hope everybody's doing well. And I just saw somebody mention a ham radio user. That's true. Ham radios come in handy sometimes during these types of events. People can communicate and keep in touch with what's going on in their respective areas. CB radios for localized ham radios can span a long, long ways, but they do help in times like this. They certainly do. All right, guys, thanks for spending part of your Sunday with me. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm trying to keep you guys updated on the situation. Stay safe out there. If you're in any of these states, hopefully the power will get back on very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.